wait for just a few more moments for people to join. If you could move to the next slide, Ileana. Just a bit of housekeeping. So today's webinar will take around 45 minutes. With regards to communicating throughout our presentation, we would ask you to use the Q&A function rather than the chat function. And then we have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation where we can answer any questions that you may have. In a moment, you'll see a brief questionnaire pop up on your screen. If you could kindly fill that out, that will really help us just to make sure we prepare best we can for future sessions. And at the end of the presentation, there will be a brief survey, again, just to enable us to make the sessions as useful as possible. So yeah, we'll just wait for a few more moments and then we'll proceed. Okay, so let's briefly do some introductions. If you can move to the next slide, please. My name's Darryl Preston. I'm the OEM sales manager for Northern Europe. So I cover the UK, Ireland, Netherlands, and Poland. I've been with VPG for 2 years, but worked within the sensor and electromechanical industry for over 25 years now. And alongside me today is my colleague Olivier. So brief introduction, Olivier. Or mute, Olivier.
Excuse me, I was on mute. So yes, my name is Olivier Deschandons. I am the sales manager for Southern Europe, in charge of France, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and Portugal. I have been working for more than 20 years at VPG, so I should have a global knowledge and overview of our capability and application.
Perfect. Thanks, Olivier. We also have with us today two of our most important people from our R&D team. So yeah, just a quick introduction, Tal.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Tal Rahav. I'm the Director of Design and Development. I've been with the company throughout its different formations, I would say. Originally, I come from Tedea-Huntleigh, so altogether, I'm in my 40th year with the company. I do design and development of force sensors, and together with Eyal Bortman, who is in charge of the electronics part, which Eyal will present himself shortly. So we're happy to have you on board today. Eyal,
Great.
please.
Thanks, Tal.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Eyal Bortman. I'm the R&D instrumentation manager. I've been working in the company for about 16 years, and basically I'm in charge on electronics and software design, primarily for sensors and also for a different type of instruments, weight indicators, and so on.
Thanks, Eyal. Okay, so brief agenda for you guys today. So I'll introduce you to the VPG Force Sensors company. Then I'll pass over to Olivier, where we'll get into the interesting part, which is our role within the construction industry with our force sensing solutions, along with the applications and products. And at the very end, there will be a Q&A session. So yeah, please use the Q&A feature, as I previously said, and we'll answer your questions as best we can at the end of the presentation. So next slide. Okay, so about VPG. So VPG, we're a leader in precision measurement and sensing technologies with an in-depth, deep engineering expertise, as you probably just heard from the guys in R&D and also Olivier. We focus on sensors, weighing solutions, and precision measurement systems to optimize and enhance our customers' solutions performance, in many instances with customization rather than off-the-shelf part numbers. And obviously, as you can see there, serving a broad array of markets. But today's focus is obviously the construction industry. We also do a lot of business within the agricultural industry, medical, general weighing, food and packaging industry, general industry, and a few other markets there that you can see on the screen. But obviously today we'll focus on the construction industry. Next slide, please. Okay, so who is VPG? So VPG, we were founded in 1962 by a gentleman called Dr. Felix Sandman, based on the invention of the foil resistor. And as the company progressed into other technologies, including strain-gages, that led to the acquisition of various load cell and force sensor manufacturers that you can see on screen there. Obviously, Tedea-Huntleigh, where Tara have started out his working life, along with Celtron, B&H Nobel, Sensortronics, and latterly Revere Transducers. Then the Vishay load cell division was established, and then in 2010, VPG Force Sensors was listed as an independent publicly traded company outside of the wider Vishay group. Next slide, please. Yeah, so worldwide presence with 12 offices, 3 manufacturing sites, and over 800 employees. Myself, I'm based in the Basingstoke, UK office, which for those not in the UK is around 40 minutes west of London. Olivier is based in our French office in Chartres. And between the two offices, we have around 50, 60 employees. The European sales is headquartered in Heilbronn in Germany, which is midway between Stuttgart and Frankfurt. R&D, sales and marketing is all in our headquarters in Modi'in and Israel, with manufacturing facilities in China, but now predominantly our manufacturing is done in Chennai in India, where we've recently doubled our capacity. And obviously we replicate our sales organizations around the world within the US and the APAC areas. So yeah, so that's a brief overview of who we are and where we are. Next slide, please. So the VPG strengths, market-leading innovation in our focus market segments. This is completely driven by our R&D capabilities, where we have a creative and flexible problem-solving approach led by many years' experience in designing force sensors. And this is backed up by our high-quality manufacturing with high capacity and competitive cost structure, especially with our site in India. And obviously, as part of the wider VPG group, where there are several other divisions, we are a well-capitalized company. And the organizational culture, as you've heard from the guys, is based on a highly experienced and committed team. So in terms of our assets, we have a broad portfolio of standard products and custom products and solutions. And as I said, the majority of time we're looking at making sure we design in a product that suits the customer's application rather than just a part number. And we're well known for our high-end product range brands with a long history of innovation and long-term relationships with many of the major OEM market leaders in our focus segments, especially within the construction industry. Next slide, please. With regards to certifications, all our production facilities are approved at ISO 9000 and are obviously subject to regular QA reviews by the relevant authorities, but also our customers who we actively invite to our facilities where we have projects that need review or they want to perform a formal audit. We have obviously standard load cells, many of which have metrology and hazardous area approvals, and also legal for trade for general weighing applications. Products are designed to meet critical application and market standards and directives like those for the medical devices, and specifically for today, construction safety and other international approvals. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll pass over to my colleague Olivier.
Thank you, Darren, for this nice presentation of VPG. So we understood VPG is involved in many market segments and application. And now we will focus on the construction industry challenges. So at the top of the list of these challenges, there is the safety. This is not a surprise, but of course it's mandatory to maintain performance and reliability, and even if possible to enhance that function. Force sensing measurement is the right way to address these challenges. Let's say an appropriate force sensing measurement will prevent again this high cost failure generated by unsafe usage, or that can cause damage on the site, and then forced long and costly forced shutdown, and finally give a negative reputation that is not the target at all, for sure. Also, an appropriate force sensing measurement will allow the machine to work efficiently in harsh environments, like extreme weather, huge humidity, mud, or uneven ground. Also, for an appropriate force sensing measurement will help to meet the safety and stability regulation requirement. This is very important point because all the manufacturer, let's say most of the manufacturer, are targeting the PLD. The PLD is the highest performance level in regard to the main regulation, like the EN 15000 for the lift truck, the EN 280 for the mobile elevating work platform, the EN 474 for the loaders. So even if the PLC should be enough to sell the machine on the market, the PLD is mandatory to win this market. And VPG is the leader to design, to develop, and to manufacture in India. As Darren mentioned, we have a huge plant in India, so we manufacture in India, so at a very competitive and economical pricing. So VPG is able to manufacture that high-level performance force sensor that will address these challenges and give to the manufacturer a significant advantage on the market. Next slide, please. So VPG in construction, the trusted partner for safety and reliability. That's a fact. That's a fact because VPG has a long-term background on this development and knows very well the key point for the manufacturer. As mentioned previously, the safety, of course. So how to reinforce the safety of the machine? It will be a common development. It will be a discussion to define the right configuration, the right design. And the right configuration means to define the right redundancy level. Because to meet the safety regulation, this kind of sensor, this kind of device must be redundant. And we will have to define the right approach with the redundancy. Let's say a full redundancy with 2 Wheatstone bridge, 2 boards, 2 cable exit, or lighter redundancy configuration in regard to the electronic of the machine. It will be a discussion, a common development. We will also discuss about the capability of the sensor by adding some function like temperature sensor, or also tilt sensor that we can embed in the same sensor body. We'll discuss also about the protection, the multi-layer protection. We'll also secure our partner on a local regulation evolution survey. It's very important to be updated regarding the regulation. So our common target is to enhance the assurance of the machine. And again, for that, the Strain-gage technology is today the right techno to use to achieve these challenges. We could compare to other existing technology today on the market, like pressure sensor combined with angle. But however, we will compare the accuracy of the strain-gage technology, also the easiest way to compensate temperature effect on the global system will definitely put ahead the strain-gage techno. VPG will offer a direct contact with our partner, with the customer, and with our R&D teams. That is a very, very skilled teams, like Tal and Eyal present themselves, to have a direct discussion to finalize the right approach for the machine of the manufacturer. That is very important. Next slide, please. So we will now have a few words, brief words on the most popular, on the most standard application on this market. And the first one, if I remember well, on the next slide, please, is the telescopic handlers. Yes. So for this machine, the challenge is to monitor the longitudinal stability to avoid the tip-off of the machine. Typically, let's say that when you have a load on the fork, when you extend the boom, you will move the gravity center out of the machine. So there is a risk of tip-off of the machine, to damage the machine, and of course, to injure the user, the driver. To prevent that situation, we propose to bolt on the rear axle a strain-gage extensometer to measure the load of this part of the machine. Typically, when the machine will tip off, the rear wheels will leave the ground. And at the moment, the load on the rear axle is at the minimum. So it's an indirect measurement of this load by strain-gage, of course. And this sensor will have digital output with, in the most cases, the CAN bus with the protocol J1939. So you will be able to plug the sensor directly to the bus of the machine and to use this information through the ECU of the machine. We can offer, if needed, also different option of the output, like the CAN open, or eventually, if needed, analog output, like millivolt per volt, 420 milliamps, or a voltage output. And finally, we can offer also another option in cabin, a display in cabin for the driver, for the user, with a bar graph that will give an indication of the status of the machine in regard to the longitudinal stability. It's a comfort, it's an help to the usage for the driver. Next slide, please. Scissor lift. So again, also a very popular application, very popular machine. It's a platform that lifts up with scissor arms. And here the challenge is to secure the worker in the platform. So to prevent against any overload of the platform. For that, we propose a direct load measurement under the platform, let's say a weighing system. So we propose to install a force sensor at the link of the structure of the platform and the end of the arms of the scissor. Typically, it could be a dual axis load pin. That is the most easy to install in this kind of device. But in some cases, we will have to customize some existing shear beam. It would depend on the configuration below the platform with the sliding function of the sliding part of the scissor arm. So we are able also to customize some sensor to meet different configuration. But with this direct weighing measurement, we will be able to have a direct weight measurement of the platform, and so to meet the EN 280 requirements and to get the PLD level also for this application. With a similar output at the previous one, digital ones with the CAN bus and protocol J1939 or CAN open if needed, or analog output is also possible. Next slide, please. Here we have a mobile elevating work platform with a basket at the end of the arm of a boom. Here the challenge is to prevent against overloading of the platform and typing concern. So to prevent that, we propose to install a shear beam load cell that will be the mechanical link between the arm and the basket. So it will be a direct load measurement, a direct weighing system. Also that will help to meet easily, I can say, the regulation requirement for the EN 280. So this load cell, this solution will be also with the digital output, the J1939 protocol for the CAN bus, the CAN open, also also analog output is possible. One thing I did not mention for the previous one, but it's available for most our solution, most our sensor, is to embed a tilt sensor inside the load cell. The tilt sensor is a very familiar sensor on this kind of machine that can be installed in another differently. So in one sensor you can have two functions available for the previous one also. The next slide, please. Another mobile elevating work platform, also with a basket at the end of the arm, but here it's an articulated arm. We propose a similar approach to have a direct load measurement of the basket, a weighing system made by a high capacity single point load cell. The previous one was a shear beam. This one is a single point. This solution is popular on the market. This is why we are seeing it on the screen. It's also the opportunity to comment one of our options because this load cells is made by aluminum, and regarding the environment on which the machine will work, aluminum it's a little bit risky. So we propose to apply the EDOC on this sensor. EDOC means electrodeposit organic coating. That is a very efficient protection against corrosion, even better than stainless steel in some cases. So same as the previous solution, CAN bus output J1939 or CAN open, or eventually, very eventually for this solution, the analog output. Next slide, please. An articulated boom lift with a basket at the end of the arm also. Here the challenge is to prevent again the longitudinal tip-off. And for that, we propose to measure, to calculate the load moment of the force generated by the basket at the end of the arm. Our solution is to install a dual axis sensor at the link of the body of the machine and the arm of the machine. So combined with angle and leg sensor, we are able to calculate the load moment of the force, and so to prevent against any tip-off, any overload also of the basket. Same output than the previous ones. CAN bus J1939 to plug on the bus of the machine, or CAN open if needed. And eventually also analog output. Next slide, please. Yes, this case is happening sometimes with our major customer who have, let's say, the department's special machine, where the machine, the structure, the configuration is not standard, or where the volume is, let's say, pretty low. The annual volume is pretty low, so there is no real sense to develop a special design, a special sensor for this machine. We are able to estimate to measure the stress repartition on the mechanical part of the machine. We are able to propose a layout of a bonding to bond gauges on some metal part of the machine to get an information regarding the load, regarding the weight of some part. It's a very bespoke application, but it could be a very nice support in case of, again, special requirement of your end user, special requirement from the environment. We are able to adapt ourselves on many different cases. Next slide, please. So it's okay for me. Thank you for your attention, and hope to speak with you directly. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Olivier. Good insight into our solutions there. So now we'll just proceed into a few of the questions that we've been asked. Okay, so one for Tal Rahav here. So why would a load cell be better to measure forces compared to a pressure sensor in certain applications? No, on mute, Tal.
Okay, so the answer is actually in the name. You know, a pressure sensor measures pressure. The force sensor measures the actual force, and a weight is a force. So the pressure is an indirect measurement. It's you're measuring the pressure in the hydraulic system, which is influenced by many other factors, not only by the weight that is applied on the platform. So the accuracy is greatly affected. Another big important advantage for force sensors is that you can do the measurement regardless of the position of the platform. If it's raised or if it's lowered, you will still be able to measure because you're measuring the force directly on the platform. Whereas with pressure, you need to start elevating the platform to generate the pressure to get an estimate of the load that is applied on the platform, and that is already you're already active, which reduces the safety of the vehicle. And some of the regulations will or already require that you have to measure the force regardless of the position. So this is the big advantage of force measurement with the accuracy.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tal. Just a quick question relating to EDOC. Is EDOC available on all load cell types, so single point, shear beam, etc.?
So the EDOC is available on all, I would say, all rectangular shape products. Usually on pin products, the EDOC will not be a good solution because usually on a pin you need tight tolerance to fit into a bearing. And the EDOC will not allow you to maintain such a tight tolerance of microns. So if you have a tight tolerance of a pin fitting into a bearing, then we propose zinc nickel. Otherwise, yes, we do propose EDOC.
Okay, great. Thank you. One for IL here. What is the MTBF time for our products?
Yeah, so in our case, I would say that the governing safety standard, which is the EN 13489, refers to a different term called MTTFD, which is mean time to failure critical. And in our sensor, this value is regarded as high, as needed in the standard, and usually it will be above 200 years.
Okay, great. Another one for you, Eyal.
Mhm.
Are there other output protocols allowed on the same sensor? So are you able to have multiple outputs, say, for example, CAN bus and RS485, or do we generally stick with just one format?
Generally, we will stick with a single protocol, and eventually it's designed on the machine itself. Um, we do we do have, I would say, um, a future product where we are providing both relay output and the CAN bus output.
Cool. One for Tal. What are the accuracy classes of the load cells?
So in the construction equipment, we're not talking about legal for trade application. It's mainly safety. So the accuracy classes are not determined or dictated by any regulation. The regulation gives you a limit in percentage. So for when you talk about these sensors, the accuracy class doesn't mean anything. You have to actually meet the minimum accuracy that is set by the regulation. And in general, force sensors, as I mentioned earlier, will probably be an order of magnitude better than the requirement of the regulation in most cases. So the accuracy class is not a term that is usually used for construction equipment. The term to be used is to meet a certain regulation or an accuracy that we, together with the OEM, agree that is the required accuracy for the system.
Okay. Couple more questions. How many strain gauges are used within a load cell? Does it depend on the size of the load cell? And does more strain gauges make for a more accurate load cell? Interesting.
Okay, so most sensors will have one measurement bridge, one measurement channel for the force, and usually a force sensor will have 4 strain gauges to complete a full what's called a Wheatstone bridge. It's possible to get a signal with less strain gauges, but then you reduce the accuracy. So the standard load cell will have 4 strain gauges per measurement channel. Now we do have, and most of these sensors for the construction are redundant, meaning that you have 2 separate force measurement channels. So each channel will have a separate strain gauge bridge. So typically, a force sensor for the construction with dual channel will have 8 strain gauges. The more strain gauges you have, the higher accuracy you will be able to attain. If you reduce the number of strain gauges, you reduce the accuracy.
Perfect. Thanks, Tal. And one last question for you, Eyal. Is it possible to add Bluetooth to the load cell and force sensors to enable wireless connection or diagnostics capability?
Yeah, so it's possible to add Bluetooth, and I would say that the main use case for Bluetooth is for technician diagnostics. Not, and I wouldn't use it for like for the main communication channel, due to the fact that this is relating to safety products. And wireless is, I would say, it's a wireless connection is less safe compared with a wired connection.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, so I think that concludes the Q&A session, unless anyone has anything else to put into the Q&A section of the presentation. We can move on. So in terms of how to contact us, you can find most of us obviously on LinkedIn, but also here you'll see our direct email or contact details for the sales managers for each region. Obviously, you've met with myself and Olivier today. We have our colleagues in Germany. We have Manfred, who covers the north part of the DACH region, and Sebastian covers the south portion of the DACH region. We have Jean-Philippe, who works alongside Olivier, covering Southern Europe. And then from a wider perspective, we have Richard Rogers, who is the US OEM account manager, and we have Sakti Kumar, who is the OEM account manager based in our India office. So thank you very much for everyone's attention today and participation. Hope you found it useful, and that concludes everything for today. And yeah, if you have any questions or queries, do not hesitate to reach out. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you and working with you in the future.
Thank you, everyone, for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
everyone.
much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.